stomped.
I didn't even watch it
I
though.
was so disappointed.
Really? But they
I
look.
mean, they had to lose like that.
They didn't play the starters though, right?
No, I don't think so. But still, even still,
Right.
50.
But we
They
made
let
it.
them
We,
boys get 51 points. Oh,
damn.
hey everybody! Welcome to Real Brothers for the real world. I'm TL, and this is my man Stace, and welcome to our digital neighborhood. We got some good topics on deck for y'all tonight. And Stace, why don't you tell us what we working with?
All right, we'll do. First of all, welcome to the Real Brothers of the real world. Before we go any further tonight, well, we have to pay our respects. We lost a giant the other day. Pay our respects to Mr. Sidney Poitier.
Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, he passed a couple of days ago, so we have to give our respects to him. All right, we got 4 topics that we're gonna talk about tonight. We got reporting crimes versus snitching. Being noticed, being nice, or leading me on.
Right.
COVID and mental health. And we also want to talk about the anniversary of the insurrection.
All right. 6. That works.
We got those. But as customary, we got the link out there. Is the link out there, Nike?
Yeah, the link. I put the link out there already.
Put the link out there.
Right.
So if you want to join in on the conversation, please do so. And let your voices be heard. Before we do that, though, Nike, you got any randoms?
Well, I think my man Shice got a random. I'm gonna let him do his first, and then I'll do mine after. How about that? Yeah, since he's on, let me get him on right there. Big bro, what's going on, man?
What's up, yo? What's good,
man? What's happening?
My nigga.
What's good?
That's my brother right there.
What's happening? Everything good, Shice?
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to get rid of this headache, man. You know.
What, from Saturday?
Yeah, man, my tolerance was like nothing, man. It was only 3. That's why I told Terry I wasn't looking crazy.
You laughing all hard.
Who, me? The comedians.
Or was it when you tripped over your shoes trying to get your coat to the lady that was dancing? You didn't look cold.
All right, yo. So we got a random, but we brought Shice on. Actually, Shice had a topic on Facebook the other day, and we thought it was interesting. So this is the random, but we're gonna let Shice bring it out, and we're gonna talk about that for a few minutes. Good evening, Lynette. All right, what's the random, Shice?
All right, Terry, you was in the conversation, so I seen this and I reposted because it hit me. And I just, do some evaluation. It said men are loved and valued for what they can do and not who they are. So in the essence, and a lot of brothers chimed in and they, hit the like button. They was feeling that. So a lot of cats is feeling like their value, and we talk about black men specifically, are saying their value for what they bring and who or what they can do for somebody. And specifically women or even the family members and friends. But a lot of times we're talking about how women look at us. Are we only seen as what we can do and not actually who we are? Right. And that could be a human thing. Like most people are looked at that way. Like, most people want to know what you can do for them. But the thing is, and I'll kind of pass it off after this. I'm trying to stay in this camera.
No, we can see you good.
We got you. Yeah.
So, am I in this camera? Yeah.
Yes, I can see you.
All right. So the thing is, when you talk about what a good man is, and I've seen this for years, women will list what they believe what a good man is, and it's like a resume. How many kids he got? He don't have any kids. He got his own crib. He got his own car. This, that, and the third. So and I get it, but that makes it like, well, what makes me different from Stacy or Terry? If you're picking me, if you're just picking me on what I can do,
right,
and then not basically saying, who am I at my core? That's not who I am at my core. That's the things that I have. At my core is my social beliefs, my spiritual beliefs, my family values, my tolerance, my sense of humor. And to me, my core is my high knowledge of self and knowledge of higher self, my connection with God. So if you're not looking at me and saying, I see you because who you are as a black man in your community and your family and your connection with God.
Somebody spamming the joint.
Yeah.
All right,
I just blocked him.
Okay, all right. So Shice, did you notice if there were any women making comments or any feedback from women on that topic? Because like you said, man,
I try to not debate people's opinions.
Right, of course.
So I see some women agreed a lot, quite a few agreed. I see a couple of women tried to just say no, and I thought that was kind of disrespectful to the fact that if I'm telling you who I am, and I'm talking about a male topic, a black man topic, as a man is a brother, and you tell me no. That's like me jumping in a woman's conversation. And women say we don't see ourselves as valued in America,
right?
And I go, that's BS.
Because you're going by your experience,
right? So you can't speak to that. You can only speak to how you interact with men. But if men in general are saying this is an issue, that's a men's topic. You might want to be a fly on the wall or ask questions.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't jump in a conversation about women and how they see themselves in society and go, no.
So again, Shice, the topic, just to reiterate, it was men. A lot of men, like you said, were co-signing on it. They say that they have the feeling that they are valued for what they can do
and not who they actually are.
Right. And as you said, a lot of men seem to be in agreement with that topic. You said, right?
Yeah. It seems like for the most part, a lot of men feel that way.
I got some thoughts on that, and of course, my thoughts going to go to societal norms, right?
Right.
So in my opinion, the black family has been attacked for decades, right?
Hundreds of years.
Yeah, centuries. So the way our society or the way our culture has been programmed, let's say, I hate to keep using the word program, but programmed pretty much to kind of be a little bit disrespectful to the black man because first of all, it's harder for the black man than any other person, in my opinion.
Right, it's your opinion.
In the United States, like the black people don't realize how tough it is to be black. I'm proud to be black because I know that we came through a lot and we still getting through a lot, and there's really no stopping what we can accomplish, right? So that aside, for all these decades and centuries, the government has made laws that makes it hard for a black family to stay together, right? They flood our neighborhoods with all these drugs, then they create all these laws specifically targeting lower income people, which I know some white people get snagged into that net, but overall those laws are created to keep
hundreds of years
black people down.
Right.
Those laws are specifically created to destroy the black family. Because who's the head of the black family? The black man, right? You take away the black man out the family, now the black mom has to either work and nobody's taking care of the kids or nobody's raising the kids, or she has to depend on the government, right? And then the government tells her, well, you can't have a man in the house if we take care of you.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we hit from all sides. So it's no wonder. It's no wonder that people look at us. They don't look at us like, oh, that brother is well, it starts with handsome, and then it goes to, all right, what kind of gear he got on,
right?
Or the thought is, what does he have, or what can he provide for me, right? It's no longer looking for that's where a lot of these women, or men too, they get into these relationships because they're focusing on the wrong shit.
Right. True.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of focusing on the heart and the soul and the mind of a person, they're focusing on all the background noise. Does that make sense?
And the downside is that, unfortunately, I think that as soon as you start to see flashes of that, the first thing we want to do is pull back. You know, and I understand the other side of that is that I understand if the woman is at a point where she's ready to build, you want to build with someone that you can build with. I get that.
Indeed.
You know, but I think that to make it, you know, for lack of a better way of saying it, so obvious or putting so much of an emphasis on that, when a dude that maybe is a builder starts to get that feeling, now he wants to pull back. You know what I mean? Because it's saying, well, man, you know, what about me? You know, what about, like you said, Shice, what about the real person that I am? You know, then you can also question, then what happens if there is hardship? Because if it's all about what I can do and what I bring to the table, and then life happens, then what? I mean,
I'll say this: it's natural, like you said, it's natural. Men are, you know, men and women have roles, and some of these roles are shared as providers, protectors, teachers, and builders. So when you bring in a family together or a relationship together that starts into a family, you want to have those things. So we understand you want to have those things, but those things are not what you just said going to maintain you 10, 20, 30, 40 years. It actually is, okay, he has those things, but who is he? That's why we wind up with people and having children with people that we don't even like as a person.
As people.
Correct.
Right.
Because you don't even look and see, yo, where was his family values at? Where was his spiritual values at? Where was his like in real recognizes real. Water finds his level. So if you didn't have it, of course you didn't recognize it. Like I'm dealing in higher self and knowledge of self. So if a woman don't have that, that's
ain't got nothing in common. Right. That's
you know what's funny?
Like, so really, okay, let me just say this and I'm gonna pass it.
Then I got one.
Let me pass it, Stacey. When women say to me, and they've been, you know, you talking about 20, 30 years since I've been in my 20s and 30s, I'm a good woman because, and you tell me about your job, I don't run the street, I stay in the house, I go to college, I go to school, and I take care of my family. I'm like, yo, that makes you a good person. What does that have to do with making you a good person for me? That's just your resume. Right. So what do you, who are you? Because there's a bunch of women with jobs and with the school and are good mothers or may not have kids.
That's right.
It's the thing about being evenly yoked.
See, but so it's almost like we get the feeling that you're looking at me saying, when we use the analogy of a builder coming in, what have you built? And the question should be, are you a builder? Like you said, if I'm a builder, as someone that you can build with, then like you said, Shice, that can sustain us for the rest of our lives because I'm a builder. Not coming in saying, what have you built already? Or what are you, what are you built? What are you in the process of building? No, the question should be, are you a protector? Are you, can you provide? Are you a producer? Can you build? Can we build together?
And that's the thing too.
In the bottom core, your belief system has to be aligned. Like I said, I always hear women say, and we can get into what men say, what makes a good woman. But when I hear women say, and I'm talking about for years, since my 20s, they start naming things. Like they say, girl, he a good man. He ain't got no kids, or he take care of his kids. What either one. He live by himself. He has a car, this, that, and the other. And I always look like, well, that doesn't separate me from any these other five dudes.
Like what that got to do with it, right?
Like when you say a good man, if I'm saying a good woman, for me, a good woman means you got to be about God, family, community. You got to love God. You got to love being black, and you got to love being about your family. And when I say your family, the tribe in the community. That's the person I want to be with. Because if I'm on that agenda and you're not, we ain't not gonna work.
Right. Nice. Say what you're going to say. Then I'm going to read some of the next comments.
All right. So what I was basically saying is just that when a person is looking for a person for, I want somebody I can build with, or a builder or something like that, right? When you're thinking like that, the person has to come in. You have to come in with as much shit as I got, because if we building, then we got like Shai said, level. Water finds its level. So if you in it just for us building, then you got to come into the shit with the same level.
Oh, okay.
You got to come into the shit on my level.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay,
like,
when you start talking about like things, when we're talking about
when you
things
talking
rather
about
than
things,
the person. Right.
But just as a person, see, that's where we get caught up. We
Correct.
get caught up in things.
Correct.
And not and not spiritually just recognizing
Right.
that we all, you know,
and nobody's telling you don't have things.
No,
right. That's not
don't chase somebody that don't got shit.
Right. That's not my message at all.
Now, Lynette said, oh, go ahead, Nike.
No, go ahead.
Lynette says it's unfortunate we as people have really become have led astray by the agendas in play.
Okay.
And she also said,
absolutely correct.
You mentioned roles in the new age. Person jumps on the defensive side. Roles, okay, and yeah, that's true. That's true. You know.
Hey, man, we was watching a movie a couple hours earlier today, right? It was John Gotti something, and it was in the part of the movie. He was like, "Yeah, I got some business." He was talking to his wife. He's like, "I got some business to take care of. I might be late, or I might not be able to get back tonight." You know, so she was like, "Why can't you stay home?" He just turned around and looked at it like, I got business to take care of. I'll be back.
Right.
And I told Venus, I was like, that's a real man right there. And she looked at me like, what you mean?
I gotta go.
I got business to take care of. I got to go.
Right.
Like he not arguing with you. Yeah, he not going back and forth. He the man of the house.
That's right.
And she was like, well, it ain't quite like that these days, but it should be, because if the man is not the head of the household, then who is? You get what I'm saying? Like, he was like, you take care of the kids. I mean, there's nothing wrong with traditional roles. No, and I'm not being like, anytime you start mentioning traditional roles, you know, like that,
that's
first thing people want to throw at you is misogynism, or you are male chauvinist. But that's since the beginning of time, also, we have had our roles. If we keep going in the same direction, if men used to be here and women used to be here, now men have given up their a lot of their responsibilities, and then women have taken a lot of their responsibility. So in the future, we're not going to even know who's the male and who's the female. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be just people.
It brings order also. I think it brings order because, we are naturally, we have different ways of looking at things. We have different ways to solve problems. And that's not to say that, you can't do
our way is better or their way is better. Right.
No,
it ain't about that.
No.
Let me pull it together.
One more Shice, right? Then we're going to move on. But go ahead, Shice.
Well, the shared experience. I always like to go about experience, like I'm not talking off the cuff. When I was with my first Rolanda Rashad mother, we was married, and I asked her, I said, why are you with me? Why do you love me? She said to me, because you do everything you said you were going to do. So everything that I could provide and said I was going to do, that's why we were together. And we fought like cats and dogs. I said black, she said white. I said high, she said low. And then through these conversations and I'm like, yo, you don't know nothing about what makes me tick.
Wow.
I learned that in my 20s. Wow. I learned that in my 20s about, it's not about, that's what you come to the table with. When I say the table, the dating table is what can you do?
Right.
That's not what makes you commit to me. What you should commit to me as a man or as a woman, as a woman, dating who
y'all have to vibe on it.
Who I am.
You have to be in a relationship, y'all have to vibe on the same frequency. That's the only way. Okay. That's the only way.
I think T put the cap on it.
Yeah, that's the only way you can have a genuine
functioning
relationship.
That's right. All right. Yeah. Hey, Shice, man. We're gonna move on. Thanks for bringing in.
I'll be listening, fam. I'll be in the comments.
Yeah, come back on.
I was gonna say,
I always like to have your point of view, bro.
If we hit these other ones, man, come back on. All right, Shice.
All right, there. I want to let y'all know that's my big bro right there.
All right, that's good. That's pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, Knight. We're gonna move on. So we got these four. I'm gonna give these to you, and you got us, man. All right, reporting crimes versus snitching, being nice or leading me on, COVID.
Yeah. All right, go. No, go get. I'm sorry. I
COVID and mental health, and lastly we have
the The
Last one
insurrection
was
anniversary.
right, insurrection anniversary. All right, so where you want to go, Nike?
Since we was already just on the relationship side, let's stay in that lane real quick.
Being nice to me or leading me on.
Are you being nice or are you leading me on?
Right. You know, okay.
So
all right.
What's your thoughts on that?
Actually, Nike, and this might sound okay. I'm a person that's a big proponent of personal responsibility, and as long as you're not dealing with someone with limited mental capabilities, and we're being honest, and that's my big thing. You know, no misleading, no lying, and things like that. You're being transparent. If I tell you that, okay, I'm not interested, and I'm even looking at the example that we talked about last week with Eva, with a friend of ours. What is wrong with that, Night? I mean,
what's wrong with what?
If a young lady tells me, Stace, I'm not interested, and I continue to try and push and do different things, let's just say I just do different things because I'm persistent,
right?
Then that's on me then, right? So I guess what I'm saying is, maybe looking at it from that vein, is there anything wrong with leading someone on?
No. What is it that we used to say when we were young? You remember us hanging out. What did we used to say? Let me see if you're gonna say it.
Hold up, wait a minute. When we were, okay, I don't remember.
When we used to be hanging out when we was younger, when we was in our 20s and all that shit. What did we used to say? Any woman can be had.
You know what? Well, you know what though, Nike? And
that was our motto, right?
That's right. Any woman can be had.
We didn't give a shit.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
We didn't care what you look.
Don't tell me.
But don't pull up in. Yo.
As long as you will talk. Now the only difference with that is if you say, I'm not even gonna stand here and hold a conversation with you.
Right.
But you're right, Nike.
That first smile. That first smile, that first conversation.
I see, but then
it's a wrap, right?
Maybe then
used to be.
Is that maybe why we view things the way that we do? Maybe that's the mentality. Our mentality
is different from this younger generation.
Right.
See, we come up in a generation, we didn't really have all of this social media and all this bullshit. You had to have real game. You had to have like real speaking. You had to be able to. You had to have confidence in yourself. First of all, you had to have self-confidence. Then you had to have a certain amount of charisma
and some swagger, some
swag, right? Like you just can't. It wasn't just about like, huh?
But then maybe that's where the breakdown is, because last week we were talking about being persistent, and I was kind of on the other side of that because that was our mentality. You had to be persistent.
But see, nowadays there's less of an emotional and a spiritual connection between people that's trying to, get involved. You get what I mean?
But that comes later though, Nike. But you had to get your foot in the door first.
Right.
You had to get to the point where you'll accept my phone calls. So again, to bring it back on, because remember that the topic is being nice to me or leading me on.
Right.
If I accept that person leading me on because I still think that I have a chance, in essence, there's nothing wrong with leading a person on then, right? Am I thinking about this the wrong way?
No, I believe that's correct. So there's also you have to be careful these days too, because there's a fine line between persistence and stalking. Like we said last week, it is a way to. There's a way to recognize if somebody is interested in you.
Right.
You
correct.
Know what I mean.
Correct.
But, there's a way to recognize, a certain look, a certain smile, and like me with me being in the situation now, like there's sometimes I get certain looks when I'm out, or I'll have a certain person say a certain thing, and I'll be thinking to myself like, If I was 25,
I know what that means.
I'd be like this, realer than that. You know what I mean?
Right,
But you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
But I ain't on that tip no more. So, you know, it's a different, you know what I mean? It's a different vibe. Cause I'm like, you know, you can be friendly, but then you have to be like, you can't let it really take off.
See, but again, bringing it back though, as far as leading someone on, I guess the other side of that is that when you're not being honest, and that's why I started my response with, as long as you're transparent and you told the person, I'm not interested, and I continue to say, let me cut your grass, using the example from last week. There's nothing wrong with that lady doing that.
It's nothing wrong with a little flirtation either.
True.
As long as you don't go overboard,
correct,
and as long as you aren't forcing yourself on nobody. You know what I mean? Like you'll get it, you'll know if a lady says, "Come on, bro," like, you know what I mean? I'm good.
That's
you
gotta
back off.
Right.
But if she like, you know,
you so crazy.
No, I don't think I don't think I'm. It's the way, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
it's it's the way the communication takes place.
But so what happens though when she says, "No, I'm not interested," but you're just like, okay, but you say,
like, yes, you are.
No. or you do something.
You can't do that.
I mean, or you continue to do something nice for that person. You know, normally, like they say, if being led. I mean, it's still, if she's honest.
Come on and tell us what you're talking about, Lynette.
What did she say? What she say?
She said, I don't think it's appropriate to flirt with someone that you know is interested and you are not. There is a personal responsibility.
What does she mean by that? I don't think
that's what I was asking her to come on and give us, you know,
to flirt with someone you know is interested and you're not. So
that's leading them on. That's leading them on.
But again, now I would ask Lynette though, what I was saying, that as long as you're honest with the person, you're not getting favors, because when we're talking about leading someone on, we're normally talking about probably getting something, you know, you're doing favors or doing something for them.
Not necessarily. You can lead somebody on by conversation. You can lead somebody on with drinks. You can lead somebody on with, you know, flirtation.
Right, but we were talking about the put the link up, Knight. Put the link up. Right. We were talking about what got our attention last week was when Eva said the dude was cutting her grass.
Right.
And she wasn't interested. And what my point is, if Eva told dude that she's not interested, but he continued to cut her grass, that's not leading him on. That's on him. As long as she was honest. Now, if she said, yeah, maybe we can get together, but she knew she really didn't want to, but she did that in order to continue to get her grass cut, then that's something different. But if she's transparent, then what's wrong with that? That's on him, right? That's what my point is.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a 6 in one basket, half a dozen in the other. You know what I mean?
Is the net looking more? I'm listening.
Yeah. So to me, it's like it's hard for me to speak about it because, you know, I'm in a married situation, so I can't really, you know what I mean? But if I was single, let's put it like that. There's people that I would, or let me see how to say this and not be
maybe you should.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But wait for the net to come on.
What I'm saying is like, to lead somebody on is to make them think you feel one way when you know you really don't, or you don't want it to go any further.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some women may like the flirtation, but not like the fact that, you know, it's not going to go any further than that. You know what I mean?
Right. All right, Lynette, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, Lynette, what's
up? Good to see you again.
Nice to see y'all.
So the topic is, and you responded to it a couple of times, leading on or just being nice. What's in the cup, first of all, Lynette? What you got in the cup?
Just coffee. Just coffee.
All right.
I got a headache, so I'm doing water.
I got mine too.
I'm hurting, so I'm doing water. But okay, so what is your feedback, Lynette?
I think so as a woman anyway, I don't know about, I can't speak for y'all raggedy behinds, but but as a woman, I think that we do have, because we hold the power. So, because ain't nothing happening unless we want it to happen.
True.
Unless y'all raggedy.
She's
but
right.
Well, we're not raggedy, but
So if we hold the power, we have a responsibility as a woman to not lead a man on further than what the reality is. So if you ain't got a chance in hell, then we should not allow the flirtation to go beyond a very friendly, you know what I mean? There shouldn't be any flirtation. Right. Wow. If I'm flirting, that gives a man a mixed message, and he's got to make a decision. And at some point, he's going to violate my want. Either come on to me in a way that I'm not going to be receiving of. So I think that as a woman, we have a responsibility.
Wow. Now that's interesting. But that's
like she said, ultimately,
the women,
it's their decision whether it's going to jump off or not.
That's
what I mean? They hold the keys to the castle.
That's true. But now, but then let me ask you this, Lynette. Where does the personal responsibility lie within the man, though? And this is what I mean by that. We're out somewhere. The dude is, you've already told him, I'm not interested, but he continues to say, buy drinks or, does something, give you something. And then so is it up to the dude's response? What's wrong? Why are you laughing?
I'm not trying to cut you off on my facial expressions, but I still say that that's the woman's responsibility
to deny.
You first of all, honestly, if you're not open for what's coming your way, you shouldn't even be accepting drinks from a man.
Wow.
So wait, if you accept the drink, does that mean that you're open?
No. But again, there's a responsibility.
It's a confusing message. You know what I mean?
It is.
A fine line.
It's a very fine line, and the bulk of that responsibility falls on us as a woman.
Wow.
Because women, I don't like women. We can be very complicated, very confusing, and very unfair. And there's a lot of women, especially this day and age, a woman will get, like, there's a mentality that I hate. The girls is really gonna come at me after this one.
That's fine.
But I get in so many arguments with females over these types of topics, because there's a lot of women out here. I don't even care.
There you go. It's just us.
I don't, because I don't even want to hang with a woman that's that raggedy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's a lot of women out here that literally, and I'm sure there's men that do the same thing. But there's a lot of women that really go after, let me see what I can get before it gets too far. Whether it be drinks, dinner, gifts, that new purse, whatever. There's a lot of women that do that. They lead a man on just enough.
Just
enough.
So, but then where is the responsibility of the dude then? But I think maybe, and actually, I think maybe we answered that question, Nike. Because our philosophy is to push forward. Our philosophy is push forward because we're hunters. So regardless of what you say, we're pushing through that. Now, again, we're not going to violate you. We're not going to grab you and all of that other kind of stuff. But we're hunters, so we're going to continue to push forward because our ego tells us if we're persistent that we can crack that shell.
Right.
So I guess... That's the
but if we talk about roles and everything and old school mentalities, a man's job was to court a woman. Y'all courted us. And by courting us, there was gifts involved and there was gestures and
there wasn't no gifts involved. I know, I'm just saying.
Whether it be flowers or candy or whatever the case may be. I better get a gift if I'm really being courted.
It wasn't no gifts involved, but go ahead.
See, that's the rack. See, that's the rack ETL. That's what that is. Now you see rack ETL.
Hey,
if a man is really interested in,
listen, on the topic, now I'm gonna be real serious with y'all on the topic. There was a time when money wasn't a problem. Like it wasn't a whole thing about trying to worry about no bills and all. You had money, right?
Right.
And then there was all these people around you. I mean, women everywhere, right? And when you lose all that money, you see how many people are still around, right? That tells a lot about what we're talking about.
Somebody said you snitching, Lynette.
I see it.
but you understand what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So if people saw you for who you are, right? Then when you lose all the shit make a difference. Lose all the stuff, when you lose all the money, all the cars, all the shit, you know what I'm saying? You see who's still in your circle.
That's right.
You see
Lynette,
who's still in your circle.
As always, thank you for you. Did you have any a last thought, Lynette?
I was about to say it's kind of tying back into the last topic that Shice was brought to the table, as far as what we see versus what you can do and what you bring.
Correct.
So it all ties in.
It does. Right. It does. But I'm glad that you agree with us that y'all raggedy women. Actually, I'm starting to realize that the women are the problem around here. That's gotta work on it. All right, we get her off, Nike.
No.
Messed up.
We just got to realize that we hold the power, and y'all got to realize that too.
True.
And everybody needs to play accordingly.
That's the bottom line. Truth. Nice party words. Thanks, Lynette. Good to see you as always, man.
Always.
If you hear something else,
pop later if you got some more comments. All right.
Gotcha.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Take care of it. All right. All right. Nice. All right, Nike. We got 3 more. No, I think we got 3 more. All right.
Reporting crime versus snitching.
Yep.
We got COVID and mental health. An insurrection anniversary.
Well, you know what? We better get to, before we go, we have to hit the insurrection anniversary because that just happened. So that was this week. So we definitely want to address that.
Let's do it.
You want to do that? All right. So of course everyone knows January 6th was the insurrection anniversary. That was the day, January 6th, after the election of President Biden, that a lot of idiots ran up in the Capitol and smeared crap on the walls, and they attempted to stop the voting, the counting of the electoral votes to actually put President Biden in office. And last Friday, or the 6th, was the 1-year anniversary of that action. So what is your feedback on that, Nike?
Let me just correct you 1 second. They weren't counting the votes. They were certifying the election.
That's right.
So the fact that the president of our country, right, stood and gave a speech and gave a rally based on lies that he knew were lies, he should be held totally responsible.
Agreed.
Can you imagine if Obama would have done that?
No, we can't imagine.
If Obama would have done that, we wouldn't be talking about an insurrection. We would be talking about treason.
That's right. Because that's what it was, like, by definition.
That's exactly what it was. Right. It was treason.
It was treason.
And treason is punishable by what?
It says death.
That's what it says. So I'm just saying, I'm going, like you always talk,
laws,
say.
That's right.
Their laws, right?
That's right.
It's their laws, not my laws.
That's right.
So if you're going to follow the laws when you black, or you're going to follow the laws against my people, follow the laws with everybody.
Yo,
or
but what is this?
If you don't follow the laws the same way you follow the laws with them, then the laws,
they don't.
Then
that's
there
right.
are no laws.
You're right.
They either apply to me or they don't apply at all.
To anybody. That's right.
Right.
And you know what though? And I think 2 things. A statement and then a question. Right. My statement is that what you just said though, it's almost like the folks that did that, when they interview them and you hear what they say, in their mind, and it's like 40% of the Republicans, like 60% of the people, something in that ballpark, doesn't think that it was violent. So the question is,
people died. How can they say that?
What does it say about our country? Then they call themselves patriots.
Right.
What is patriotic about that? That you broke
That's
the law.
code. That's dog whistle code.
Correct.
That's all that
Correct.
is.
So
patriotism in this day and age means racism.
Absolutely,
Patriotism
yeah,
in this
yeah.
day and age
to them,
means
to them,
Trumpism.
to them,
To them.
And
Right,
and
correct.
unfortunately, Nike, I think that we have a better understanding of what the definition and how to carry out those words, because we have to keep our eye on it, because if not, like you said earlier, those laws won't apply to us. So we have to be pay attention to those things, because if things start to go sideways like they are, who are they going to affect negatively? It's going to affect us. It's going to affect
just like
us.
every other law. And that's my point. If the laws don't apply to everybody, then the laws don't apply to nobody.
Right.
So, and then here's another thing. All right, here's a whole year later, right? Regular people have been locked up, been tried.
Like 700.
How come the people that actually started it, that actually were involved in it from the top, how come it's taking so long to get a verdict on them or get a resolution on them?
Right.
See, that's the shit that's wrong. That's part of the shit that's wrong with this country.
And the big issue with that, though, Nike, is that you still, even with all of this, you still have a large, almost half of the country that will still support the person at the top that called for the folk to go down there and cause the havoc that occurred. How can you, what does that say about as you always talk about love of country? You don't love the country.
No,
nope. You don't love the country. You actually.
Wait. Yes, they do.
You love past
their country. Nope.
Listen. Listen.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me say this. They loved ED. They loved the country. Past tense. They don't like what it is now because it's changing.
Right. That's what I was getting ready to say.
They love
this country.
They love
this country
for what it was.
And for what it was, and for what it is. They don't like the change that they see coming.
It's coming down, right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't like the change that they see coming.
Well, maybe
they see the same change that I see coming.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that right there, they don't want that. But the thing is, being a patriot, how can you be a patriot carrying a Confederate flag in the rotunda
and beating cops?
I'm gonna tell you how it happened.
Cops.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you, I don't actually think these people are in their right frame of mind.
What do you mean?
Because just like we've been programmed, those people have been programmed too. They have been programmed in the opposite direction.
But wait a minute.
They have been programmed from Fox News, and all of that shit.
True.
You get what I'm saying? And it's coming out about that, like how Fox News
they don't even
had
show
a lot to do with the political stuff that went on.
They don't show it.
What's his name? Hannity.
Sean Hannity.
He should be locked up. That's my opinion, because he was aware and he was pushing all of that propaganda.
That's right.
And then on the same token, texting the president behind the scenes something else than what he was actually putting on his show.
That's right.
It shouldn't be that shouldn't be allowed, right?
But Terry, listen to this though. Listen to what you just said about Sean Hannity. How can he maintain this credibility? How can people still think that he's a credible person? Because
his credibility is run or is stood up by the machine. It's in his credibility comes from who he represents.
But listen to this though. But Terry, you still have people that find him credible. If someone
because they don't know no better. They're it's a cult.
Okay, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they don't really know no better. All they know, and this happens a lot, and it happens to us too.
Mm-hmm.
We get the programming from social media. We get the programming from our, that's why you got Rick everything is set up in red and blue now, if you notice, right? Just like gangs, right? MSNBC, they represent the Democratic side, right? Some of that shit is brainwashing our folks. Just like on the Fox News side,
okay, but
you'll
no,
have
there's
the
a
same
difference
story,
tonight.
and you'll have two different
but Terry,
representations
no,
of the
I
same
disagree
story.
with that. I disagree with that.
All right.
Because as we just said, Fox News, they're spreading lies. I'll give you one real easy one. They said that the insurrection wasn't violent. That is a lie. There's no gray area.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Right.
No, you're correct about that.
So the difference is I don't look at MSNBC and say and find many instances where I'm saying my girl Rachel Maddow, you're lying. I have yet to come across that where she said something or any of them that I can think of. I can't think of anything that has come out that was just a blatant lie. No one has proven that anything that they said was a blatant lie. There's a difference. Fox News, they're lying to their people. You're not brainwashing me if you're just giving me information. That's not being brainwashed.
Right.
That's not being programmed.
It's what I guess what I meant to say. Not particular. Well, Fox is definitely a brainwash.
It's lying.
MSNBC, I think they brainwash in a different way.
No, but I don't because brainwashing tonight. If they're giving you information that's true, I'm saying
they give true information.
Right. So how is that brainwashing?
Huh?
It's truth until you prove that it's wrong.
Right.
So if nothing has been proven, if no one showed me came on Fox News, because I'll flip over to Fox every once in a while. If they never said this is what Rachel Maddow said, and this was a lie, no one has ever proven anything that she said was a lie. So that's not brainwashing.
Most of their stories are factually correct. Right.
So that's not brainwashing. You're just reporting the news, right?
Right. You are reporting the news, but you're reporting the news that makes people. All right. So you pick and choose what news you provide, right? When the last time you heard a positive news story about a black person on MSNBC? Not Sidney Poitier dying. I'm talking about for once. Like when the last time you heard MSNBC cover something like the lynching bill?
They do Nike all the time. Listen, Nike. One of the hosts, or actually a lot of the hosts, are black. You don't think that they cover those? I watch it every night. Joy Reid.
I watch
That's
it
all she talks about.
I watch it too.
Don't Joy Reid talk about black issues constantly? Right.
I didn't say they didn't talk about black issues. That's not what I said.
The lynching bill. Doesn't she talk about that? How they need that needs to be the priority?
I've never heard her talk about the lynching bill.
Reverend Sharpton, who's one of the civil rights leaders that's left, he talks about it constantly.
I have never heard
constant.
I haven't. I'm just going by. I'm not saying you're wrong. I said I've never heard it.
And let me assure you, Nike, that they talk about when Joy Reid comes on before Chris Hayes. She's on like 6 to 7, something like that. Right. She talks about the political aspect, and she talks about it from a black perspective. The laws they need. They were saying that the lynching bill, and the Voting Rights Act should have went before the Build Back Better plan. No, it didn't. But my point is that when you said, do they talk about those stories constantly? All
right, I have to take your word on that. I just haven't heard it.
Yeah, so there's a difference between brainwashing and reporting the news. If you're lying to someone and you're pumping them false information,
right? I'm not saying that they're lying. What I'm saying is the way they cover stories.
Left leaning, you could say.
Not just left leaning, but they cover stories that
see. Even with
cover
that,
stories that keep division. That's what
I don't see. It's funny.
The only thing that I'm saying, because Fox is way over here, MSNBC is way over here, and then there's the people that's in the middle.
I even disagree with that. Listen, this is why. Because if you're sowing division, that means you're trashing the other side, right? If you're trying to sow division, they would have to be trashing the right, right?
They do trash the right.
No, nope.
The right trashes the left too.
No, but listen. When someone steps up and does the right thing, they bend over backwards to praise him, and I find it funny because I noticed that they do it. For instance, Darth Vader in 2 administrations ago was who? It was Dick Cheney, right?
Right.
Dick Cheney was Darth Vader.
Right.
They praise him. They praise Liz Cheney every day because they're standing up against what the Republicans are trying to do. So, and they're Republicans.
Think about what you just said, right?
Mm-hmm.
If our country has come to the point where we're praising Darth Vader.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is that no, but listen, because what if you look at it from the bigger picture though, what they're saying is that these Republicans that we might disagree with on issues, they're not the Republican. They're not doing what the Republicans are doing now. They're not rolling the country backwards. So we can, and again, I'm okay with that. I can disagree with you on issues. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. I would take George Bush back anytime. I might have disagreed with George Bush on policy, but I never thought that he put himself in front of the country or would attempt to destroy the country. There's a difference between George Bush and Trump. You disagree with that? You think they're the same? George Bush didn't run a cult. George Bush wasn't trying to run a cult. There's a difference.
That's the difference. That's the difference. Bush's following wasn't as cultish.
No, I mean, well, no.
If you take a look at what the Bush era policies brought to the country, come on, man. Like they created a war just to steal oil. Bush wasn't really running the country. Bush, to be honest with you, Bush wasn't running the country.
Well, he was the president. He was the president.
The guy you just mentioned was running
Cheney.
the president.
Well, listen,
running the country.
Regardless
of Cheney.
Okay, as the vice president, but Bush was the president, so he was the leader. So as far the reason why I say that is because people are quick to say that without just throw that out there. What they're saying now is talking about how now Biden is not running the country. I don't even know what that means. He's the president.
You don't know what that means?
No, I mean he's the president. So what do you mean he's not running the country? Who's the president then?
You think the president has power, don't you?
I do.
The president doesn't have power.
Okay.
He's the most powerful. What they call it? Figurehead. He's the most powerful figurehead, but he's not the most powerful. They give him his agenda.
Well, listen, it's interesting that you said that because you're right. He's not supposed to be. We have 3 equally powerful branches of government. We have the judicial, we have the House, and the legislative, and the executive. So you're right. You're absolutely right. Those 3 branches share the power. So that's a nice correction. All right, you ready to roll on, man?
That's not true either, but that's not true though. We'll have to make that. Let me write that down. Who has the power? Because we got to discuss that further next week.
We're gonna talk about that next week.
Yeah, let me write that down because
nice.
You got that all wrong. Wait a minute. Let me write that down. Who has the power?
Who has the true power? All right, that's a nice one. That's a pretty nice one.
The power?
You done made my headache go away. Now.
I told you.
You done made my headache go away.
Once we got going, you be feeling all right.
You done bought the adrenaline and kicked the pain out. So I'm good. I'm good now.
All right, cool.
So we got
the next one?
We got reporting crimes versus snitching and COVID and mental health.
Let's go COVID mental health.
Okay. So we might have to push what was it? Reporting crimes and snitching to next week. So we got 2 for next week. All right, Nike, what you got on COVID and mental health? What are your thoughts?
All right. So I've been reading about all of the deaths and people getting COVID and the spreading and everything, and there may be a possible 3rd shutdown. But I've also read articles where suicide rates have jumped through the roof.
Right.
You know, and they're saying that, you know, because of COVID, you know, people have a worse outlook,
That's right.
but a worse outlook now than they had, you know, years ago. And you know, the causes that can be attributed directly from COVID. Oh, and you know, when we was talking about people leaving their job the other week.
Yep.
When I gave you that number of 4.5 million people that ain't working, those were I read that article again. It's 4.5 million people that quit their job.
Oh yeah.
They quit their jobs. Not just that's just not the unemployment rate. That's just 4.5 million people said, I had enough of this bullshit.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. We're in a tough spot, man. And I mean, because anyone that I talk to, everybody's tired of this. You know, we're all tired of it. We're frustrated. We want to put it behind us. And you're right. I heard the same stat, man. You know, talking about how the suicide rates are up, and like you said, people have a negative outlook. But I guess I would say, man, you know, we just have to get through it. You know, we have to get through it. And like,
well, we don't have a choice. You have to, but
right.
Unless you go on what we're talking about, suicide. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny, and things always seem worse when you're in it, but these aren't the darkest days.
Oh,
you know,
hell no. The darkest days is coming.
Huh?
The darkest days is coming.
I mean, well, you know, I guess you can always.
Have you looked at any financial shows or read any financial reports?
Yeah.
They're talking about this time when they are expecting another housing crash.
That's right.
For one. And along with the unemployment, that's they projected that there would be in November. They projected that there was going to be like 222,000 jobs, you know, filled. They didn't even meet that number.
But fortunately,
it was 199,000 jobs that got filled. But there's so if you take that 200,000 jobs, say roughly, right, and put that up against the 4.5 million people who quit, you're not really knocking a dent in it.
Well, but actually, Nike, the unemployment rate now, and this is a fact, is at the lowest rate that it's been. Like, it's like 3 point something.
Right, and that's only because the people that were on unemployment that was getting paid, their unemployment ran out, and
so they went back to work. So people are working.
Not all of them didn't go back to work.
No, you're right. I mean, there are 4 million people that quit, but the unemployment rate right now is the lowest that it's been in like 50 years. The unemployment rate. This is a fact. So are you saying that that's not the case? I'm gonna look it up right now. Go ahead.
You said unemployment is the lowest that it's been in 50 years.
In about 50 years, yes. Go ahead. I'm gonna look it up. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What? All right. Yeah. All right. What I'm saying is the people that quit them jobs, right?
Right.
A lot of those people still ain't working because first you had the stimulus, right? People were living off the stimulus. Then now isn't there supposed to be another stimulus package on the way?
I haven't heard that. Just to interject real quick. The current unemployment rate as of December 2021 is 3.9%.
Right.
So
tell me, how is that the lowest in 50 years?
No, okay. All right. Let me look it up. But go ahead. I'm listening, Nike.
Yeah. So no, I'm just saying, like, you know, things are going to get a lot worse.
Okay, put it this way, Nike.
Inflation is killing us. And look, inflation.
Oh yeah.
Minimum wage. Remember, I told you if minimum wage should be $24 to $26 just to have your head above water. Right?
Yep.
That, I mean, what is minimum wage, like $15 now? Or
all right, let me read this to you real quick. Unemployment rate in the United States averages 5.7% from 1948 until 2021. So therefore, a 3.9 unemployment rate is lower than it's been in a long time. Right? I just read the stat. So
you said what? Say it again.
The unemployment rate in the United States averages 5.7 from 1948 to 2021.
Right.
It reached the all-time high 14% in 2020 and a record low of 2.5 in 1958.
So how is
right
that?
Now we're
so
at 3.9.
That disputes what you just said. How is 3.9 the
because
lowest?
I said because the first census it's averaged 5.7 from 48 until now.
That's the average. So in 2020,
average.
if it was at 14%, and then at another time it was at 2%, then they're gonna give you an average.
Yeah, but that was like
8%.
But that was like 1948 when it was 2%.
Well, you're missing my point.
Okay,
For that
but
to
anyway,
be considered the lowest, then if it was the lowest rate, then it would be below the 2% that you said was in whatever year. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, but I do see what you said about the those amount of people that are out of work, and you're right. I think it's gonna I believe that is gonna be another shoe to drop, but I haven't heard anything about another stimulus. Is that what they're talking about?
Huh? Another stimulus? I don't.
Did you say that?
I think they were talking about another stimulus. That's part of the reason that Joe Manchin was against it, I think. You know what I mean? Because he said they giving away too much money and driving up the debt and all, and all that stuff.
Right.
So,
right. I mean, and that has to be considered. That
right.
has to be considered. But again, people still need help. So it's a balancing though, because at the same time, like I do know that stimulus had some people saying, "I'm not going to work."
I know, and that's the and right. So that right.
I think
so now.
I gotta be honest.
Wait. So now you asking these same people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this and tell me if this is if it makes sense or if it's fucked up. They're asking these same people that they gave all this money to, right, to go work every day for less money than they was getting to stay home.
So you saying they shouldn't do a stimulus?
I'm not saying they shouldn't do a stimulus, but they have to come up with another plan, because that plan is not, they got to find out another way to do it.
One of the things that Joe Manchin said that I do agree with, he said that.
This nigga agreeing with Joe Manchin out this joint. All right, all right.
He said that not everybody. He said that they should lower the threshold of the people that qualify for that. We're gonna do that one next week. He said that they should lower the threshold. No, we did that one already.
We doing it now, I thought.
Oh, you're right. My fault. He said that they should lower the threshold of what the salary that people make in order to qualify for the money. I agree with that. If you make over a certain amount of money, you shouldn't qualify. You don't need the help. I agree with that.
Yeah,
he said means tested.
But see, if people, it's like it's a situation where it's like almost like a catch-22.
But do you agree with that though? That one statement that I just said. Do you think that they should lower before? Do you think
lower the threshold on the help
of a person that could get the help? Right. At what salary night would you say that a person should qualify to get money? At what salary? Just throw out a number. What number you think?
It's hard for me to do that, Stace, because I don't. You know what I mean?
Just what? 100,000? A person making 100,000, should they get help?
100,000.
200,000.
Well, you know what I mean? Like
200,000. 200,000, they should qualify for help.
Help like everybody else.
I don't agree with that. I think most likely.
No. But
you understand what I'm saying?
Real, like
put a number on it.
There should be a limit, but
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to tell you what that limit is, because I just go by I just go by what I read and what I the financial shows and stuff like that. And as far as the poverty line, right, what it takes, what they think. Because they add up an average, right, of mortgages, rent, utilities, housing, all
That's
of
right.
that, right?
That's right.
So, and then they come up with a number that says this is how much a person needs just to survive. They're not talking about extras. They're just talking about, regular survival, being able to live with shelter, transportation. Well, not even transportation, but just shelter.
Right, the basics,
bills,
food,
right, the basics. So they should go pretty much. I think they should go by that number.
And you know what, Knight?
And maybe a little bit more, just so people can have enough for extra.
Guess what, Terry? We agree. You agree with Joe Manchin also, because that's what he's saying. He's saying base it on something. Don't just say if somebody making 300,000
number out the air,
huh? Right. I mean,
I'm sure they're basing it on something.
He's saying lower the threshold, and I agree with that. Because now let me see something. Somebody said, let me read this. We definitely gotta read this. I'm gonna read this first part slow. I agree with Stace.
You a fool.
Said, I agree with Stace about thresholds. Biden wants to erase all college debt. Some rich people, I agree with that too. Biden wants to erase college debt. Should rich people be able to erase their debt when they can afford to pay? That's my point, Terry. If you make a certain threshold, you probably can afford to make those college payments. I'm talking about the person
I got 2 kids that just got out of college, so slow down with that a little bit.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
But they probably would qualify for help.
Like,
no, but listen, they would probably qualify for help. That's what I'm saying. If they're making $1 million, or if they're making $500,000, they could probably afford to pay the college loan.
But they're not making $500,000.
I said they would probably qualify for the help. That's our point.
You're talking about somebody that
making $200,000,
making $500,000
exactly. They can probably afford to pay those college loans. So
you correct on that. Yeah, I believe that.
So you agree with Joe Manchin?
No, I don't agree with Joe Manchin. I'm gonna go down fighting on that one. I'm gonna go down fighting on that one. Joe Manchin got some shit with him.
He does, but on that,
he's trying to get paid, Stace. See that?
Listen,
wait.
But Knight, we gotta be able to compartmentalize on that issue. There, I agree with him. I disagree with him on just about everything else. Voting, I disagree with him. I think we need to do something with the filibuster. I agree. I disagree with him, but on that issue there, as it relates to the Build Back Better plan, they should means test it, and it should be based on salary.
I can get with that. I can get with that.
You agree with Joe Manchin? All right. So
I don't agree with Joe Manchin, but that point that you just made right there,
hey, listen,
I agree with that.
You sound like them when they like, well, I don't like Obamacare, but I like the American Healthcare Act.
It's not the same. It's not the same because
you don't like it because it's Joe Manchin.
I know that Joe Manchin is only holding out so he can get what he can get.
But Knight, that's not what we're talking about. You're changing the subject. We're talking about this particular issue.
You brought up Joe Manchin, not me.
I know, but only as it relates to this one issue is what we were talking about. I agree.
I can't expand it to the point. I'm saying that Joe Manchin is only holding out so he can get paid from the lobbyists. See, all of this shit, Stace, it's all a shell game. These senators get paid for their vote. See, we all think that these senators are representing us, or these congressmen are representing us, and they got the people in mind when they go to Washington and all that shit. When you go to Washington, those lobbyists is like this. Like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And they're gonna give you what you want. And if you're smart enough to get them to run the table for you, then that's what you're gonna do. And that's what his thing is. You got to give me money. I'm the last vote. So you ain't getting it until you give me what I want.
Right. Yeah. Now let me ask you this then. So do you think that and this is changing the subject. And you know what though? Let's talk about this next week. Do we think that our elections should be public, where the taxpayers give each candidate
public states?
No. I mean, maybe I'm saying it wrong. Should the taxpayers give each candidate a certain amount of dollars, and that's what they use to run their campaign. So therefore,
I'm not giving a candidate shit if I don't believe what they.
Listen. No, what I'm saying is that therein lies the problem, though. What you're talking about now is dark money. What you're talking about is lobbyists making contributions. So what I'm saying is, if it was a public election, you couldn't get any money from any lobbyists. No. I'm talking about publicly funded, where the taxpayers give each candidate $10 million and that's it. You can't take private donations. We should talk about that next week.
Private donations?
Yeah, take out dark money, because then there'll be no lobbyists. Because you can't take dark money. You can
How can you take dark money out though?
That's the way you do it. But there was a law that the
country is run on dark money though. How would you do it?
Because listen, if campaigns were run and paid for by taxpayers, each candidate gets $10 million. I'm just throwing out a number.
Right.
You run now you don't have to go out and raise money.
Right.
Because you're starting out on equal footing. Everybody gets $10 million. Right. So you can't take money from lobbyists.
But the way our system is set up, right?
Right.
You can't take money from lobbyists, but you can take private. You saying you can't take private donations at all?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And then how would that look once a person got elected? They just can't receive any money. You know, they got all kinds of rules around that.
But no.
There are loopholes.
But once it's a law, but a law is a law. If you make a law saying
they got laws now, but they got loopholes in them laws.
They do, because they feel those
people
loopholes
who they want to protect.
But there was a law that Bush and them pushed through, and the Supreme Court justice, basically what they said was corporations are like people. Therefore, corporations can make political donations. I forgot the name of it. The Bush, that was rolled back in the Bush era. Get rid of that. That takes away the dark money. That's when they started doing.
They're not going to get rid of
what they did before.
That's the problem.
Exactly. So you do agree that elections should be publicly funded. You agree with that?
And I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I'm saying they're not going to be able to implement that.
Well, but that's why we got to vote.
The system is already
is
already built on that.
But listen, Nike, if we vote,
that foundation, they can't get rid of that unless they tear it down and restructure the whole thing.
Listen, the Democrats was against that law. I forgot the name of it. The Democrats voted against that law. The Republicans passed that when they took that to the Supreme Court when they were in power. So again, that runs back down to
that's
voting.
That's only because they wanted to control who gets what money, right?
What you mean?
They have all kind of loopholes in them laws where they have overseas corporate. It's a whole lot of shit that goes into that shit. Stays that
it is.
You know, it's over my head and your head too. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Those like the pharmaceutical corporations. The unions,
right.
These social media corporations, Bill Gates and his crew, all of these people, that's who runs the country. They run the country by their donations. Like when they had these fundraisers and these, $5,000 a plate dinners and all that.
Right.
That money goes to
their campaign.
Like they'll say, they'll say, like, look, man, we need this bill to go through for this medicine that's about to come out, and we need you to ease up on the regulations on that.
Right.
So here, put this law and here's I'll buy. No,
right.
I'm gonna buy 20. I'm gonna buy 20 plates.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's exactly how it's done. Yeah.
Yeah. So now he's like, all right. So now he's on his list. I don't give a fuck if he Democrat, Republican, whatever. Now he's on the list. All right, we got him. This is how much we donated to him. He's good on our list.
But listen to this though. Nike. They donate to their coffers and then they use that money to run campaigns. If they're
that's not all they do with that money, Stace.
Okay.
You know Joe Manchin has a mansion and a yacht?
Yeah, that's what he lives on. Yeah.
So how does a congressman on a regular congressman's salary afford that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. No, you right.
Follow the money. The money is always going to tell you who's doing what. That's
right.
all you gotta do is follow the money.
All right, Nike. We've come to the
It's
conclusion,
9:15,
man.
bro. Yeah.
We've come to the conclusion. So, what are your parting words, man?
All right.
We
First,
got
I
two
want
for
to
next
say,
week.
yeah. First, I want to say we had some good conversation, so we had to push a couple. We're gonna have to push a couple topics back, and that's a good thing.
It's a good
You know
thing.
what I mean? And I appreciate everybody who's been giving us support throughout 2021. Hopefully, we can gain some more support in 2022. And yeah, that's you know that we got big things coming. Oh, one thing, look out for we got some merchandise that's about to be on tap. We waiting on a couple orders to be we're getting our digital logo created for our merchandise. So that'll be hopefully maybe February. We should be ready to go with that. You know what I'm saying? We starting small, but we're gonna,
right.
you know what I mean? We're gonna keep it going,
right.
And we're gonna ask for your support and ask for, you know, you to purchase our merchandise just so you can advertise that you are a real brother or real sister.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And
okay.
That's all I got. Last thing, just remember, love is the new black.
That's his thing.
That's my shit.
All right. So once again, y'all, to echo everything Terry said. What's up, Pat? Like to thank everybody for tuning in. Shice, Lynette, thank you for getting on. It's always nice and interesting to get those different perspectives. So we're not talking amongst ourselves the entire show. So again, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to please check us out and subscribe to the Real Brothers videos on YouTube. We need to get the subscriptions up. Then maybe we can do something with it at a later date. You can also catch us on all major platforms and check out the commercials. Terry found a way that he could cut some of the videos up and have little snippets out there. We're using those as commercials. Or if one of them grabs your attention, feel free to share it. Oh, okay. Hey, Mara. Buddy of mine, Mara from 87 said good show. What's up, Mara? All right. So, Nike, man. So once again, thank everybody for tuning in. We
hope your head feel better, bro.
Yeah, I'm good now, man. I'm much better. I got that adrenaline going now.
Yeah, got your juices flowing.
Got my juices flowing. I'm ready to argue. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. We see y'all next week.
All right, everybody. Have a good one. See you next week.